Try to skip but you don't understand. What's been taught you can't control where you land. Don't throw it away or you'll sing in the sand. Life is a rare, you fall where you stand. The life has to show, there's no master plan. Your memory fades, this time will command. All die, so
Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So this is the second part of the video that I was working on yesterday, or multiple videos. Anyway, this came from my Shock Nova Inquisitor, and again, similar to the last video that I put up for Divine Ire, it just sort of happened, and this one's way better than Divine Ire. So this is Crackling Lance. And this is a self-cast, so this is actually Phantasmal Crackling Lance, by the way. So there's a reason why we use Phantasmal, and it's mainly because we get an increase of 10% extra cast speed. Very few people running this. Like, there's people running it, but very few, at least at level 100 in the league. So pretty much off the back of the last video, very, very similar. This is 100% crit, or like 0.62% off being 100% crit. We get about 5.5 million DPS, and this is charged up with, like, you know, all stages, sigils of power. So like 4.1 mil without four stages of sigil of power. 4 stages of intensity. We'll talk about intensity very shortly, because this build is basically built for the Intensify support gem. And then, yeah, pretty much crazy defense, or pretty crazy defense, max block. It's got, again, cold conversion, all these lightning skills working on this template, cold conversion, so we're using Call the Brotherhood, 2 Call the Brotherhoods, same all's Uprising with Wrath Roll. We're stacking about 9 auras on this mofo, so yeah, 9 juicy ass auras, 3 of which are large set auras, so there's that. There's a car outside that's revving its motor. And then, yeah, we made a few changes to the overall gearing, but we'll talk through that shortly. Pretty much how it works is, so your first couple casts will cast like a big AoE like this, right? And then as you hold the trigger down, it will refine the beam into just a pure fuck-off laser beam that absolutely destroys everything. And that's pretty much how this build works. So when you're on bosses, you pretty much want to slap your Sigil of Power, put down your Frost Bomb, and then just absolutely go body on it with this. And that's pretty much how it works. And then you'll also notice that I am abusing focus again. Similar to my my Blazing Salvo build, focus is just really good. And we do have a cast when damage taken set up in this as well for Molten Shell, so we're not going to muck around with any of that stuff. Also, we have Mark on Hit, because it's just easier. Pardon me, my nose is a bit bad today. And yeah, anyway, let's jump into the POB calcs and do a bullshit check. Alright, trust me to get a runny nose on a Sunday. Okay, so, calcs. Always on low life, yes, we established that yesterday. No frenzy charges this time. If we did have frenzy charges, we'd get another mil DPS, so, you know, you could run Cold Snap, for example. That could be better than Frostbomb, actually. But, yeah, are you focused? Yeah, because we're running focus on our move button, we're always focused. Which gives us up to, I think, 36% increased attack and cast speed. Yep, and that's just a glove enchant. So, yep, do we have Onslaught? Yep, we've got Onslaught on our boots. Same boots as yesterday, Onslaught roll. If we didn't have it on the boots, we'd have it on a flask. Are you leeching Energy Shield? As per yesterday, yep, Essence Rush, we are definitely leeching Energy Shield. On Consecrated Ground, Inquisitor, we've got Pious Path and everything. Yep, nearby enemies, about 10, and that's just to buff up the Soul of Lunaris, and when you're mapping or delving, and this does do delve, 10 enemies is pretty reasonable. Have you crit recently? Yeah, I'd say with nearly 100% crit, we've crit recently. Have you killed recently? Yeah, I'd say with nearly 100% crit, we've killed recently. Have you been hit recently? Really, this just gives you increased survivability, and it's reasonably tanky. Like, not in the 100,000s, but 56,000 effective maximum hit taken is pretty beefy. Have you blocked recently? 100% block build, so probably, yeah. Outside of that, 4 stages of intensity. As you hold it down, it builds intensity, and then you get the laser beam mode and you just wreck things. Sigil of Power, very easy, because the cast on this is like, let's have a quick look. Cast is 45 mana, so Sigil of Power is pretty reasonable. As we can see here, it'll charge up. There we go, charging up. Okay, so beyond that, is the enemy shocked? Well, we're using lightning damage, so we'll assume 15% shock is pretty moderately reasonable. If we took that away, it'd drop it by 0.5 mil, so yeah. Anyone in the comments want to quantify that more to me, go crazy. Is the enemy on consecrated ground? Definitely, yes. Because we're running Inquisitor, they're going to be on consecrated ground with us. Sirus A9, nothing crazy going on here. If we did have the Frostbomb bomb, it would basically do nothing, so yep. And we mitigate all elemental resistances because we 100% crit with the Inquisitor, and our ascendancy means that when we crit, we just absolutely, when I can find it, cut through all elemental resistances like they're nothing, because they become nothing. And then that's pretty much it for the POB calcs. Like, there's no weird and wacky shit going on here. Obviously, my flasks are ticked on because they're always up, and that's because they recharge as they get hit. Anyway, let's get into the gearing. Okay, so gearing-wise, pretty much similar to the video I put up yesterday with what build was that? Divine Ire. Same helmet, Zealotry enchant on it for mana. Increased mana reservation efficiency. Aegis Aurora, so we're running max block, and we're running low life with energy shield. We're running All's Uprising with Charisma Anoint, and this is the Wrath roll. This one's actually relatively cheap on the market. Should be hopefully cheap. Yeah, like 2 to 3x. This one's not too bad. Honestly, I would farm this next league and play this as a league starter because it's such an easy build to get started. Nebulous, go figure. And what gives it power is this 16% increased cold damage per 1% cold resistance above 75. Because we're running Aegis Aurora, we get +6, and we end up about 86% overcapped, which is pretty good. And then beyond that, 2 Call the Brotherhoods. If you can get Corrupted Enchants, go crazy. Shavron's Wrapping, 6 length, 5 blue sockets, 1 red. If you could get the Corruption roll to be able to get it with 40% increased damage, you do way more damage. Now, gloves. I did change this in the build today. This gives us 160 energy shield, and also 1% to maximum cold res and some increase in mark damage. And this 1% gives us an extra 16% cold damage because it's another 1% over. And then beyond that, chaos resistance, and then we've also got our focus roll on here too, our 36% focus. So this is giving us a bit of chunkiness when we're running around the map, and also a hell of a big speed increase. As you can see here, it just becomes a speed demon. Same belt. We're going to change this belt. There's a crafting video I'll be doing later today for this, but all fire and cold resist, and just a shitload of energy shield. Pretty easy stuff. And then boots, same as yesterday, implicit armor roll, onslaught craft, and then chaos res, fire res, lightning res, fire res, and just a shitload of energy shield. And then flask, same flask as yesterday, Quicksilver flask, diamond flask, granite flask, amethyst flask, and a bottled faith. That's pretty much it for the gearing. Like, nothing really crazy until we get into the gems, but I'll explain that when I get there into the next part. So let's talk about gems. Okay, gem setups. Again, relatively the same as the video I put up yesterday, which I'll have linked in the description. So, Divergent Purity of Ice, Sigil of Power, Tempest Shield, Vitality, level 11. And the reason why I run Divergent Purity of Ice is it gives you maximum cold resist penetration to enemies. And then Flame Dash, Mark on Hit, and Assassin's Mark in my Nebulous. In my shield, I'm running Discipline, Arrogance, and Clarity, and the reason why I'm running Arrogance is because this is low life and we're not running a Prism Guardian, so we're basically turning this into a Prism Guardian. In my chest, I'm running Phantasmal Crackling Lance, and you want Phantasmal because you get 10% increased cast speed if you get it to 20%. And then I'm running, now this is the expensive one which will cause argument here. I will put a second tree in the POB with just like a level 20, quality 20 spell echo gem. And if we actually change that out in the tree itself, I'll show you what the DPS drops to, and it's not too bad. So we want to remove that. So there we go. And if you manage to get anomalous, you're not far off. Like, you lose a half a mil or a mil, give or take. That's just the name of the game. Like, you know, we're in endgame. I'm not going to take this off because I'm having too much fun with it. But, you know, it's still powerful even without it. So, yeah, it'll do everything in the game regardless. And then we have Awaken added lightning damage, level 5, of course, for the extra +1. We have Intensify. Now, I haven't maxed this out, so once it gets to level 20, it'll be 20 in the POB. It'll be even better. Increased critical strikes, obviously, because we want to crit more. And Inspiration, because we want to crit more. We pretty much want to crit. And then in our gloves, we're running Wrath, we're running Determination, Anomalous Frostbomb, and Zealotry. I'm thinking about running Frostbite instead of Anomalous Frostbomb. Seems like a better role or a better way to play it, but I'll have a think about it more in the next day or so. And then in our boots, running Arrogance and Defiance banner, and again, just reserving that life because we're running a Shavs low life setup anyway. And then I'm running Cast from Damage Taken, Molten Shell, and this is just one change from yesterday. I got rid of Blood Rage, not worth it in this build, because of running Focus, that just trumps anything Blood Rage was going to give us with the power charges, sorry, Frenzy charges, and it's more consistent as well. Yeah, and it works in boss fights without any implications, so yeah. Anyway, that's it for the gem setups. Okay, so there were some minor changes to the tree from yesterday because we're no longer using an Asenath's Gentle Touch for our gloves, as you can see. So pretty much the same go all the way down to Sanctuary. We want the crit per maximum energy shield on shield because that's going to give you crit multi. Glancing Blows, we're going to come up here, grab this node. We're going to put a medium Thread of Hope, and that's so we can attach onto the Divine Judgment node here, and also the Sanctum of Thought. We'll get Divine Shield, which we can see here. This is just going to give us more survivability and fizz damage reduction. Then we come up, we're going to grab the Faith and Steel, the 120% increased armor while on low energy shield, well, not on low energy shield, sorry. We'll come up, grab Sovereignty, Reservation, Efficiency as the mastery point. Arcane Potency, you want the 25% crit multi against unique enemies. We come up, get, pardon me, Zealot's Oath, Arcane Guarding, a little bit of Dex. We come back down, Insightfulness, and we have Regenerate 2% energy shield per second. So with this build, we actually have 731 ES regen per second, which is pretty good. Then we come back down. I'll let you guys look at the jewels in the POB, but basically just crit multi, same as yesterday, and max energy shield. So we come down, we grab the Foresight, and we want the Discipline, increased reservation efficiency. We want Leadership, again, life reservation efficiency. We come up, we get this dual socket up here. We grab Pain Attunement, because we're low life, we get 30% more spell damage. Nimbleness, and then we also want the increased intensity, because the way that Crackling Lance works, that increased intensity gives you a pretty significant buff to your damage. And then we come back up, we want Throat Seeker, more dexterity with Alacrity. Alacrity. Bloody Australian accent. And then we come back down, we'll talk about the clusters after, and then we come back down, we grab Influence. We want the 8% increased damage for each of your auras or herald skills affecting you, because we're basically stacking auras at this stage. We get Arcane Sanctuary for elemental and stun avoidance. Then we'll come down, we'll get Doomcast, and then all the nodes in here, because we want that sweet, sweet crit multi. And we're also going to get Written in Blood once we get to level 91, so we get up to 5,000 energy shield as well. Probably be about 5,100 after Discipline gets to level 20, maybe 5,200 at level 21. So the big change is we dropped off this Atrophy, this Whispers of Doom, because we don't have two marks or curses hitting, so we're all good. And then in my large cluster setup, I've just got Essence Rush and Practice Caster, and if we were to smack on that last node there, in another 2 levels, which we will probably do, we go up by 228,000. So burden projection, which is pretty bloody powerful. So 6.2 mil at level 93, which is pretty good. And then we come up, precise retaliation, quick getaway, and then, another cobalt gem. Now we do have a Watcher's Iron here. Did luck out and get a zealotry, increased cast speed with regeneration to ES while affected by discipline, so that's pretty good. The only thing I would say is, actually that's a really low roll and that could be way better. So I'm definitely going to Divine Orb that. The only thing I would say with that is just make sure you've got Corrupted Blood immunity. You'll notice my XP bar dropped twice because I fucked up in the Sirus fight and I got done over by Corrupted Blood because I forgot to switch it out. I'm currently just switching it out between this Watcher's Eye for this Watcher's Eye because they're giving me about relatively similar DPS. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the tree. As far as ascendancies, same ascendancies: Sanctuary, Pious Path, Righteous Providence, and Inevitable Judgment in that order. Always go for Pious Path first. Way huge survivability increase early game and get you through maps really sufficiently. Alright, since I was having a lot of fun with this build, I did get my Pantheon, so Soul of Naris, and also Soul of Aberath to get rid of burning damage on ground. So basically, burning is the biggest enemy of this build, and with this node, it removes it entirely. So we got very few big enemies aside from like one-hit KOs and things like that at this stage. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Pantheon. Alright, so hopefully, and the POB will be in the description for this one, hopefully these sort of build overview guides are helping you, give you some ideas of some really cool sort of build diversity. In particular, you can build one template. Actually, you can do the same thing with Leadership's Price with my life-based Inquisitor from earlier in the league that I ran Blazing Sub on. You can actually run a really good Crackling Lance build on that too. But moral of the story is the goal that I'm trying to achieve here is sometimes it's a nice little accident, but experimenting with skills on even the tree you're running, you probably find you can run like at least 2 or 3 good skills. This isn't going to get you to like uber boss farming. You probably could. You can go further up in the DPS profile. But that being said, how much time do you want to put in, and do you just want to have some fun? This does all T16 maps through Sirus, everything, Uber, or not the Ubers, but Elder, Shaper. It does the Pinnacle bosses, everything, as you can see in the B-roll at the very start. And it's like, well, yeah, what do you want from the game? This will kill Maven, hands down easily. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. If you like this video, like and sub. And until next time, have a good one, and bye.